Yeah, excited for the upcoming week. Obviously, kind of last year in the A-Sun, get to kind of go around and play all the teams you know. The last year, I guess, I don't know about Shiloh, but I was looking at the scout yesterday. Like, we know these guys. We've been around them for a long time. And just kind of excited to get to compete against them. Obviously, both two really good programs, well coached. And we're going to have to come in, put our best foot forward to get the result we want. So.
Yeah, looking forward to it. They're two pretty good teams, and we need to be able to execute our system pretty well in order to get a desired outcome.
I guess for the two of you, Blake, I know you remember the times where Scotty, Mayo, like you had two really good post players. Do you see that with you and Shiloh, what you're able to bring? Like you have that dynamic where there's no drop off at all when the two of you are in the game.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, we were both a part of those. I was a part of both teams, and Shiloh was obviously part of that last team. I think getting the chance to compete against them is obviously there's kind of a standard that's been set by the guys that have come before us. I think that it's a little bit different just because I mean, Shiloh and I's games are very different than both of theirs, obviously. And I mean, I don't know. Shiloh can play in the post, but he's definitely the most versatile of the guys on our team. He can play from the 3, the 4, the 5. So there is the comparison there, but I think that there's also a uniqueness to specifically Shiloh's game that I think it'd be doing a disservice to him to put him kind of in that box. So.
In terms of the fact that you guys both play a similar position, like you saw with Scotty and Maya, like minutes wise, no one was complaining about that because they knew you're going to get on the court and you're going to find a way to help the team win. Does seeing that help out a considerable amount that you know the expectation is no matter how much playing time you get, you need to contribute?
Yeah, I definitely think that's you learn from 'em, and then but I think our team's pretty selfless. Like there's a healthy competitiveness like in our team, like from similar positions, and obviously Blake and I, like we're like fighting for minutes sort of, but like at the same time like we're happy to see each other succeed, and but we're not the only two that like do that. Like there's multiple others on our team that I think we enjoy like seeing each other succeed, so it's not like unhealthy. It's a good like healthy competitiveness.
Yeah, I think Coach has talked about a lot just about how deep the team is. Like I think whenever you have guys at similar positions that can kind of have that continued drop off. I mean, or where there's not a drop off. I even think of Zay and JV. Like those two are very interchangeable minutes wise throughout a game. Obviously, both very skilled, like in their own rights. And either one of them could be starting. It's just a matter of I think kind of the team and the way that Shiloh talked about like a good competitiveness, like the way that we compete against each other every day in practice elevates not only our own performances but the team's performance. And so I think that's why you could say that about us. You could say that about JV and Zay. You could say that about Brody and Colin, whoever else you want. So.
Blake, talking about Scotty and Maya, you were here kind of the tail end of their last couple years of their career. That dunk that Shiloh threw down the other day, was that bring back memories of something Scotty used to do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know. Like I think Shiloh's kind of like I said, he's a unique player. Like he just brings so much to the table from a skill set standpoint. It's fun to play with. It's hard to compete against. I remember just even going. We were talking about in the locker room this summer, but like Shiloh, like he's impacted the game a lot for us, like cutting, being able to space the floor, like everything else. But you guys should have seen in the summer. We kind of joked about it. He looked like a baby Kevin Durant, just the way he was playing. And I think that that's a skill set that's a huge piece for us. And so it's fun to watch whenever it gets going. So.
And Coach McKay, after one of the games last week, said that you've been playing, you kind of had a piece off the court, and that's allowed you to kind of take your game to another level on the court. Is there anything you need to add to that? I mean, do you feel any different this year going into this season and how things have transpired so far?
I mean, not really. Obviously, like it's just kind of continuing getting comfortable. This is year 5 for me, so being able to kind of know the system, know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I need to work on, what maybe needs less attention, is kind of something that's just been a huge piece for me growing. So.
Charlie, you talked about competing, two of you for minutes kind of, but also for the competition. What have you seen out of Blake this year that maybe, he didn't have last year or something he's improved on this year?
I don't know. I think he works really hard. Like I think he worked really hard last year and like the year before that. Like he's just a hard worker, and he always works out like before practice, and if he can't go before, he'll go after. And I think those like daily deposits have really like seen him like improve, and like I'm not surprised by what he's doing, like the success he's having. So.
Shiloh, is there anything moving to coming off the bench? Does that allow you to maybe when you come into the game, do you feel like you learned something before you take the court? Like what positives have you seen from coming off the bench as opposed to starting? Has there been anything you found that's been helpful?
Well, just like some schematic pieces, like you're able to see what the defense does, like how they guard us, like how they guard Darius, and like you're able to see like how, like we're able to find solutions despite like not being on there. Like I can talk to Coach Johnston, and then defensively we can see what they're gonna do on like ball screens and or like how they're trying to attack us when we guard the ball screens. So.
Do you view it as a challenge mentally then when you're starting the game on the bench of being mentally engaged enough to go in and know what the other team's already trying to do?
Well, yeah, I think anyone on the bench knows that like when you go in, you want to have success. Like you don't want it to have a drop off. But I try to attack it the same, like when I was starting, when I'm not, and I want to continue to do that. So.
For either or both of you, you guys have had a lot of success as a team, really since Thanksgiving, playing at a very high level. What is it to say about being able to focus on each game at hand and kind of flush what you did yesterday or last week and focus and make sure you get the best of yourself each night?
Yeah, I think we kind of talk about it as a team. Every day is a gift. Every chance is an opportunity. And so just kind of trying to embrace that. And every game's going to be different. I can't go into next game saying, oh, I got to do the same thing I did down in Jacksonville. Shiloh can't go into the next game saying, oh, I got to do the same thing I did in Jacksonville or against UNA. Like it's got to be every game is itself and every game is its own challenge. And we can't just say, hey, well, we won this many games in a row, like this is going to carry over. Like, no, it's not. Like at the start of the game, that's what's going to happen. I was listening to Mark Price's podcast this morning, and it was kind of talking about the Cavs game, like all the Warriors guys sat out and like their whole starting five. And kind of whenever you go into a game and you don't like set that tone early, you don't set the tone in the first quarter, anything can happen. You can dig yourself a hole you can't get out of. You can get beat down to a point where it's like you're just not there mentally. And so I think for us the challenge is going to be what's our preparation, what's our mindset, and are we more worried about ourselves or are we more worried about the opponent? And I think that's going to have the biggest dictation on the outcome. So
Speaking about the opponents, Stetson, they grab a lot of offensive rebounds. I think 11 of their 19 games they've grabbed double-digit offensive rebounds. What have you guys seen in film about how they crash the glass and what you guys need to do to prevent them from getting those second chance opportunities?
Well, we try to focus on ourselves, and like one of our keys to being like tough to play against is like finishing the play, like, and that goes from like obviously getting defensive rebounds and then like taking a charge, like getting a 50-50 ball. So like those are things that we try to like focus on like ourselves versus like what they do, if that makes sense.
As talks about all the time on the broadcast, but how much pride do you guys take in your passing ability and setting teammates up and being facilitators? Because I mean, it seems like, and that's kind of been the trend with Liberty Bigs here for a while, but it seems like that's a big part of what you guys do is your ability to facilitate.
yeah, I think there's a lot of pride in it. I think again, like you kind of, if you really look at kind of where it came from Mayo, and obviously getting to watch him in the Mississippi State game kind of dice up that defense. And I think that's just kind of set a standard for the program and for what playing as a forward position in our program looks like. And obviously you've seen Kyle is one of our leading assist guys every game. And so I think just there's a lot of pride in that. There's a lot of pride in the ability to be able to do that. And I also, like, if we don't turn the ball over, like, we have success. So I think being able to do that well and effectively has been something that everyone's embraced. And, yes, like, the forwards have loved it. But you've also kind of seen Zay get in there on some of those ball screens and other stuff like that. So I think it's just kind of trickling down to the whole team of everyone loves to share the ball. Everyone loves to see everyone else has success. And we talk about it in film, but, like, loving someone is wanting for them what you'd want for yourself. And, like, I think you see that with the guys. Like, yeah, there's a lot of pride in, like, being able to throw that pass, but, like, there's also a lot of excitement in being able to see your teammate do well or dunk on someone or, like score a layup or hit like whatever trail three. Like I think there's just a lot of pride that we take in each other too. So.
For both of you, what has Coach McKay meant for you personally and for this program?
Yeah, I think he's a tremendous guy. Like my relationship with him has like grown a lot these last like 4 years. But I think his ability to like impact the team. Like I think our team is very like selfless and like very highly competitive and has a lot of good qualities. And I think that mostly stemmed from him and like what he's willing to tolerate. And so I think he's a super important person. He's helped me a lot in my life, and I'm sure he's helped Blake as well. So very thankful to have him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've talked about it a couple of times, but like Coach McKay, like I asked him to marry my wife and I, and like there's a reason for that. Like I think there's a lot of just wisdom and perspective that he's helped me have and grow in, especially like spiritually, just and guiding me, reminding me of what's important, reminding me of, hey, like basketball may not be this for you right now, but like should it ever be? And like I think that's something that is rare to find in a head coach, and even beyond that, just the way he handles kind of his position. However you want to get into it as a head coach, like or like whatever, as a leader of a group of guys, like I think just the way he handles himself, the way he handles his position, like at this university, at just as a coach in general, like I think it's really cool and it's really respectable. And I don't know, like I just think that if there was more people like him out there, the world would be a lot better. I know it is a little cheesy to say, but at the same time, like I can't speak enough about him as a man and as a person, and just the level of respect I have for him and the way that he handles his stuff well, but also like it's genuine. And so I think that that's just really cool to see. So
This past weekend's games particularly, they were both games where it was kind of a dogfight for 25, 30, 35 minutes, and you guys were able to pull away. What does that do for your team now as you get ready to start preparing for really the stretch run at the ASUN?
yeah, I mean, we talked about just kind of what does it mean to be a tough team, kind of just amongst us, but also if you go back and look on it, I don't want to keep going on and on about it, but those teams that have had success in our past have been able to kind of be in those dogfights for a while and pull through. And we talk about outlasting our opponent, but I think that really looks like, hey, am I going to stay committed to doing what like I know is right, even when they hit a tough shot. Like Shiloh was talking about the Jacksonville game, like one of the guys hit like a tough, like contested, like midi pull up too, and like, is that a good shot? We could get into that argument of it, but it's like Shiloh didn't let that dissuade his effort, his defensive kind of standard that he had for himself. And I think when we're operating like that, that's why we're able to kind of pull out of those. And so I think beyond anything, it's just confidence that like, hey, like what we do works, what we're trying to do every play is going to be successful. And so I think it's more of a confidence builder just in the reps that guys are getting. So
Richie McKay mentioned about a week ago that sometimes you need to go through the losses earlier in the year and then these type of games that you had recently and we'll get this coming weekend as well. How much, I mean, again, I know you don't always want to go back to the past, but going back to the past, how much is that a benefit knowing, hey, when you're going through that grind, there could be a really good reward on the other side of it?
Yeah, like it's easier to learn from losses than it is to win from wins. And like I think in our losses we tend to turn the ball over and we're not great defensively. So like those are things that like for the most part we can kind of control. And you know, if we're able to execute that, like we have a belief in our system. No, we know what it takes to win, and if we're able to execute that, then it's helpful.
Every team talks about having a tough home court environment, and that's what you want. You guys have seen that change quite a bit during your time here. How much have you seen that change, and how much does that impact you guys on the floor? What you see now for a sold out Saturday night home game compared to maybe what you saw when you were freshmen? Yeah,
I mean, I know we were talking about it literally yesterday, just about how you could tell there were students back at the last Central Arkansas game. And no disrespect, I can't remember what the guy's name was from Central Arkansas, but he kind of got the crowd into it. And we were kind of like, dang, like you're sitting there in the game and you're like, I'd hate to be that guy, just because he really found a way to get everyone locked in. And I think whenever you have kind of that environment of just feeling like there's all those people behind you, all those people cheering for you, wanting what's best for us as a team, it's a lot of fun, and it impacts the game for sure. So I think just the energy, the emotion of it all, it's a great home court advantage. It's a great place to play. So